Win 2 tickets to Denko's last show in Colorado.
A crazy mushroom.
A fistful of nug.
5 chances to win.
Follow and subscribe to
The Hippie Not Hippie Podcast.
on Instagram,
YouTube,
TikTok,
Facebook.
or tag a friend in this post with the
Mushroom emoji.
"You must be 21 and have a valid ID."
You meet us in Colorado.
Find all the rules at hippieNotHippiePod.com.
I'm Zach Moss,
And I'm AJ Finney.
and this is
Hippie?
Not Hippie.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 15 of Hippie, Not Hippie. Oh, man.
I'm juiced, man.
Yeah, you're wild this morning.
Yeah, well, you brought me that decaf coffee, and you put cream in there, and I was like, you know what? If there's already some. Normally I drink my coffee black, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm putting sugar in there. And
Today I'm a cream boy.
Put a lot of sugar in there, and man,
Oh,
feeling a little sugary.
Zach
so,
is sugared up and creamed on top.
Yeah.
I don't know if that sounds great.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, what do you have coming up this week?
Actually, thus far, I'm open if anyone has dates. But on the 3rd, I will be in Aspen at the Belly Up hanging out to watch the string cheese incident on their Aspen run.
Oh, cheesing. You're going to be
cheese.
All right.
Super excited. 450-seater, dude. So a small venue, and Thursday's sold out, so it'll be a good one.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, I think I said the 3rd. I'm sorry. The 2nd. How about you?
I am heading off on my southern tour. Yeah.
Southern man.
Yeah.
Where are you heading?
I am going to Tulsa,
Tulsa.
Memphis,
Memphis? Tennessee?
L.A.,
Louisiana?
yeah, New Orleans.
Yeah. Ooh.
I've never been before. It's my first time there.
Is Mardi Gras still going to be going on?
No, I think we're going to catch like the tail end of the parade season maybe or something.
Yeah.
But then going up to Mississippi,
Mississippi Queen.
then Alabama. We're going to Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Tallahassee, Florida.
All right.
Savannah, Georgia, Atlanta,
Ooh, Hotlanta.
Charleston, South Carolina, Nashville, Kansas City,
Oh, wow. So you're going down
Wichita.
south. Wichita.
and home.
And home. Man, you're going south and then just kind of wrapping back around.
The whole loop, man. My
Yeah.
goal is to do all 50 states by my birthday in June.
That's
and
great.
when I get back from this, I think I will have 7 left
Wow.
to knock out in the next 2 months. So
That's pretty cool, man.
yeah. So I'm excited about it. I have never performed in any of those states. I have in Kansas,
Okay, yeah.
and I have in Missouri.
Right.
Oh, we're going to Fayetteville also, Arkansas. I forgot that.
Have
that's in
you
there
ever
too.
done anything in Arkansas?
I have. I've done Fayetteville, but I'm going with Brett Hiker, and he hasn't done Arkansas or Kansas. So
It's more fun than you think it's going to be.
Arkansas, I had a kick-ass time.
Pretty rad. The location, like the landscape of Arkansas is beautiful.
And
you
I've
get
done,
a chance to hang out.
I've done Missouri and Kansas, but I've never done Wichita or Kansas City. So
Kansas City's great. Wichita can be super fun too. Are you doing
Mysteries of Wichita.
Wichita? That's I don't know why we used to say that. Wichita. Where
sounds
are you
like
at
an
in
old
Wichita?
man who has
Yeah.
teeth that whistle.
Welcome to Wichita.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna get my gold.
Yeah.
That sounds fun, man.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah.
So what did you do this week, AJ?
I was at the Hotel Boulderado doing the underground show there at the Speakeasy. Super fun. Got to promote the podcast a lot. I got to have ice cream. That's what I did. That's this is really, really strange. Marciana got a little upset with me because she had to work on Sunday. Saturday after the show, I said, I don't drink. I need a celebration. And we're going to Ben & Jerry's. I got to hit there before 9 because that's when they close. I'm getting 2 scoops, waffle
How many
cone.
flavors they have these days?
A lot. They
Yeah.
have a lot. Yeah,
They
there's
have
a
more
big,
than 32.
more than Baskin and Robbins.
Are they the
Baskin Robbins
are they
is
the
at 32
number ones?
flavors.
Oh, all
yeah.
right.
Ben & Jerry's is just like wild flavors.
Oh yeah, oh,
Cherry
Ben &
Garcia.
Jerry's. Okay.
But yeah, man, I had butter pecan. I wanted peanut butter cup, and they were out, which I had to maintain a little. Didn't want to go Dr. Kev on them.
Lead pipe those motherfuckers.
But it was great. Got the ice cream, and Marciana was like, so we're going to go now? And I was like, no. We're going to the Boulder bookstore, and we're going to wander while we drip ice cream all over the floor. So it was fun.
Nice, man. I did the Naughty show at Studio Friction.
Yeah, friction. Was it sold? You have a full house?
Yeah, it was a great crowd.
You do such a good job there.
And I had a lot of fun. Like, I don't think I told more than 5 minutes of jokes during my 30-minute set, but
Riff City there.
yeah, it was definitely Rift City.
Did you have 2 different performers with a intermission?
Yeah, so I learned something about this. I didn't know this even existed.
Okay.
The first performer was a solo performer. Did you have a solo performer? your
No,
night?
I had duets.
Yeah, so there's this thing called solo suspension where you tie yourself up.
Okay.
It's kind of like the masturbation of
It's like a free solo.
yeah. And no, there's this great performer I met, Kennedy, who did that, and it was awesome.
So
Or I don't know if I can say people's names if their names stay in the dungeon or something. I'm not sure how that works, but I think there was pictures taken and everything. So,
yeah.
but
So solo performance for the first like 3 or 4 acts.
for the first 3 acts, yeah,
Then they run the intermission.
yeah.
And then what came on for you? Because there's what, two people before you?
There was one. Mo Vita went before me.
Okay.
And Mo and I have worked all kinds of
Yeah.
weird kink shows together over the years, or just like, I don't know, like the shows at the nudist colony aren't kink shows, but I don't know. I'd consider it in that realm for some people. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
you're naked performing. I don't know, but yeah,
Did she get involved?
yeah, she got involved a little. I don't. Actually, I can't remember if she got involved.
Because sometimes what I found what seems to be very interesting about that show, and I think what Chris really enjoys, is the discomfort of comics being put in a position where they don't exactly know how to behave.
Yeah, he said the point of the show is to kind of be like embrace the awkwardness for you or whatever. That wasn't his exact words,
Right.
but something along those lines. So yeah, I had a lot of questions.
Okay.
You know, a lot of my thing was asking questions so I like got up there.
On stage or no?
So my performers, by the way, were Foxy
Okay.
and then Primal Fox.
So you had double foxes.
Yeah, I had 2 foxes up there.
Do you? Can I ask gender?
Two women.
Okay.
And so, yeah, 2 lady foxes up there. And I met them before the show, and they're like, yeah, do whatever. We're exhibitionists. We don't care.
Whoa.
Like, they're like, go for it, you know? And so, yeah, I had a lot of questions. Like, when I got up there, my first question was, is your foxtail attached? Like, how did you tie that in there?
It wasn't a BP, was
And
it?
she goes, oh, it's how you think it's in there. And I was like, is it a butt plug?
Was it?
And she's like, oh, yeah, it's a butt plug.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
That's awesome.
I was like, how big of a butt plug?
Do you have the annihilator in
I was
you?
like, how long does it go? And she's like, you'll never know or something. Like,
wow.
yeah. And then they were they had her tied up upside down and her butt cheeks were there. And Foxy was snapping Primal Fox's butt cheeks with a rubber band.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, can I try that? And she's like, yeah, come on over. So I was like trying to do it without, like, I was like, I don't think I can touch this butt, know? So I was trying to do it like without touching her butt. And then she was like, you got to touch the butt. So then I just went bam and flicked it. But it wasn't a good one. Like she was leaving marks. I didn't even leave a mark. And then, she'd like talked some shit about how
weak you were.
Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing.
The rubber band snap takes me right back to like junior high when you used to like tough out the back of your hands with another dude.
Yeah.
You ever do that?
No, I didn't do that. But, we would snap each other in the arms or whatever. Yeah. You played like bloody knuckles with rubber bands.
You put your hand down and then one guy would snap it and you would just have to not say, you'd have to be very stoic about it. So you couldn't go, ha!
Okay.
And then whoever got to a point where they're not necessarily bloody, but you would go, all right, man, I've had enough.
So, yeah, they were, so then she kept her upside down and she pulled out this rope that had like 30 clothespins on it.
Okay, when you say rope,
so it was like
let's talk about girth.
It was basically like a thin kind of line, like a clothesline. And
okay.
But then it had like 20 clothespins on it, right?
Okay.
And
I'm
then
interested.
She started like just clipping them onto her.
What do you mean clipping them onto her?
To her body, to her skin.
Random places.
Random places. One was like on her butt cheek. One was in her butt crack.
Nipple pinch?
I don't know if she got a nipple. I think at this point, the nipples there was no nipples out. There was no boobs.
Right.
So then they just clipped the clips all over, and I was like, put one on her feet. And I was like, I'm not into feet, but I feel like that would hurt,
I love how you're like, put one on her feet. I'm not into feet.
Yeah.
Which sounds exactly what someone that's into feet says.
Well, no, that's the kind of place, though, where I could be like, where I could totally be like, yeah, I love feet. And they'd be like, fuck yeah, he loves feet.
Yeah.
Like,
bring Zach the footman back.
No, so then they put all these clothespins all over her, and then they gave me the rope, and she was like, rip it off.
Wait, rip what off?
All the clothespins at once by pulling the rope because it had a knot at the end, and when you pull the rope, it rips all 20. And these clothespins are like all over different places. And
okay, so now, I understand. So the clothespins are still attached to the like twine or the rope.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a domino.
Yeah, they call it a zipper.
You gonna rip the zip?
I ripped the zip, dude.
Zip, what a way to extreme zip line,
dude. I just I took off running.
What?
Yeah, and when I did, she went, "Yep."
Are you ready for the zipper? I'm ready.
And the one woman was like, "Good job, you got a yip out of her." So I felt like I redeemed myself after the shitty, rubber band snapping.
Yeah, you had to redeem yourself with the fox.
Yeah, man. And then
wow, that is funny because that remember that old song that was like the fox sound that was like yep 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 yep.
No.
Oh. I think there was I believe there was a song that was like something like a fox sound, and then they would go yep 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 yep. That's the sound that apparently she made. She went yep.
Okay.
Are you too high this morning for me to be going chip 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 chip?
Well, no, I'm trying to remember what happened next.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
And you just keep making these fucking noises that I don't understand.
Chip 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 chip.
So then Foxy, who's topping, I didn't know there's top and bottoms in rope play. So if you're getting tied up, you're the bottom.
Yeah.
If you're doing it, you're the top. So then Foxy, and I noticed this earlier, she has this big knife on her hip.
Wait, and Foxy's the top.
Yeah.
And she now has a knife.
She has a knife.
Crocodile Dundee.
And then she pulls out the knife.
Okay. All right.
And I'm like, this is wild.
Yeah.
She's going to kill her. No.
I didn't know I was going to be involved in this.
No, I was like, holy shit, am I in a snuff film?
Yeah.
But she pulls out the knife and then she goes, "Do you want tits?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Do you want tits?
And then she took the knife and started cutting her tits out of her shirt.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I was like, thank God, because for a while, like when she was like, "Do you want tits?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, and I said this to the crowd. I was like, "Yeah, I was worried that you were just going to like cut one of her titties off and hand it to me. Like, here's tits."
Yeah. like a fresh apricot.
Yeah. So, I was like, glad you just cut her shirt off and not her titty.
Cut the shirt off and then I'm assuming revealed pasties?
No.
Real? Just nip?
Full nips.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cut the boobs out. I was like, give it up, like that, I was like,
was that the final?
That was kind of the finale, but then I just like, I kept kind of talking.
Yeah. after it was,
and I was like, are you done? And they're like, we'll go as long as you go. And I was like, whoa, this is and yeah, I told Chris to light me at 20.
Yeah.
And then tell me when I hit 30. And I think I hit 30. And then I looked over and I saw this and I was like, okay, because I forget. This is one thing like Mo told me she didn't think about is I was like, does this hurt? And she was like, yeah.
So the longer you're on, the more constricted they are.
But it's also like, that's what they're into is like kind of the pain angle of it. So, well, it is what they're into. I mean, that ripping 20 clothespins and one of them out of your asshole and off your toe. Like,
yeah,
I
just love the phrase zipping tits.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty wild. And then
I'm gonna reach out to Chris.
I was like, I don't know how to get off. I don't know if I should do another joke. And then she was like, all tied up down there. She's like, "You've told some jokes tonight." And
just roasted you?
Just roasted me, dude. And the crowd went fucking nuts. And I was like, I think that's how we gotta end it, Wow. And yeah, they were great though. It was a fun show. And
dude,
I don't know. I thought it was cool. It's pretty. I don't think I really want to tie anyone up in ropes. And the claustrophobic, arthritic me, I don't want to fucking be tied up in ropes. But I thought it was like kind of cool and like as far like more as like a performance art or just like
it's almost like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, I mean, in the photos they have around there of the rope performers and everything are beautiful, man. I mean, they look. It's cool in the way, I don't know. It's like a macrame basket for a human being.
Yeah. I still think it would be fun. I don't know how we would do this, but if we could get Chris to somehow introduce us to someone where we could shoot something trying to do this for the sake of the pod.
What do you mean?
Well, if we just figured out how difficult this is in some form or another, even if it's...
we could go take a class on rope tying.
As long as they would let us somehow...
I'm definitely topping your ass, though.
Yeah, I think I could... I think I would
my
have...
My joints are so bad. I think you'd be better in the ropes.
Yeah, I think I could bottom it. I'm not wearing the tail, though. I will say that. I'm not going to...
told Chris that we wanted to go, you'd get tied up and I have like a top that, helps me do it.
I bet he'd be all over it.
Oh, yeah. No, I think he would love that.
We would have to get...
Because despite what Primal Fox said, I fucking killed at that
show. Well, I think that if we got two professionals, a professional top and a professional bottom, that maybe somehow talked us through it, that would be interesting.
Now, we... another one of my favorite parts of the show is I talked about how I can just hear the ropes up here, and it sounds like an old boat.
Yeah, nautic theme.
And at the top, she was like, "Well, I've done this on a boat before," and I was like, "Man, if I was doing this on a boat, I'd just keep walking by the yacht, like driving the boat by the yacht club with like her up in the ropes, and be like, she's tangled in the ropes." She fell down the sails and she's tangled in the ropes. And like,
I do have to say this. That was sincerely has been one of the funnest shows I've done in a long time.
Oh, that show was reminding me of the pure joy of just comedy and how weird our lives are. Like, yeah, it was super fun, and yeah,
and pushes you out of your comfort zone for sure. Like, there's no way to prepare for what you're getting into. You're just put in a situation and you go, either you freak out or you go with it. And even if you freak out, did anyone have weird, you don't have to give names, but did anyone get super nervous about the whole thing or not know how to interact?
The one comic on the show that I think might be a virgin got pretty
like
nervous.
Real virgin?
Yeah.
Yeah, what yeah. Wow.
We're not laughing at this person's virginity. We're happy that they're saving it, for whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not a virgin. I don't know. But I definitely think they were nervous.
Yeah, that happens. There were a couple of comics that were on my show, and one of them I was surprised at how nervous they were. But you can tell when they keep going, man, this is weird. And I'm watching it and I'm going, are you actively hard right now? Like, what is happening?
It's not, I didn't think it was that weird. It was fine. I recorded the audio of the set.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe
not yours.
Well, and I maybe I'll release it just because.
Did you go back and listen to it? Because I've not listened to mine.
I haven't, but it felt good. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I mean, I know it was Riff City.
But
wow.
Man, so
The Knotty Show. If you hear this, look it up.
Yeah, we love you. Go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's open to the public. Studio
Yeah.
Friction. I think they do it like once a month, and you can take classes on getting tied up in ropes.
Yeah, learn it.
Yeah, if you wanna become a top roper or a bottom roper or a
Well, also, I think you know what I think
or a passive lasso.
People. Passive lasso sounds like the Ted Lasso porno.
Passive lasso. Oh, sure. I'll just get fucked.
I think that it could be really.
I'm not gonna do anything while I get fucked. My name's Passive Lasso.
Passive lasso. I just let things happen. I think there's a benefit to being the bottom, like understanding how to be tied up. Like if the apocalyptic times happen and you got trapped,
Yeah.
you would be like, I know how to get out of this.
Well, I asked Kennedy, I'm like, so this solo stuff, like, have
Kennedy?
you ever, the first performer, the solo performer,
Gotcha.
asked her, I was like, what happens when you practice this at home and you're tied up? Like, have you ever like gotten stuck where like and there's emergency? She has a garter on with emergency scissors.
Whoa, okay. Yeah, because I was wondering, it seems like something you'd want a spotter for if you were doing it on your own.
Yeah, no,
I mean, a rope gets weird, accidentally hits your neck. Like that could be it.
yeah. So
Wow.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I had a weird Saturday. So Megan was out of town. I was hanging out,
Changing gears.
and
Where was
get it.
Megan?
She was in San Diego doing playing.
San Diego.
Yeah, she was playing a conference for neurologists or something. Like her,
that's
her
cool.
jazz band was playing. I had a weird Saturday. I get a call from my buddy Desmond, who is on a conference call with his girlfriend. They're in San Diego too, weirdly.
Okay.
This has no connection to Megan. And with someone that I went to high school with named Tessa. The thing about Tessa is that when I was like 14 or 15 years old, we stole a bunch of kegs from the Civic Center in our hometown. We found out that like for the amateur basketball games or whatever that they had there, or NCAA, or it wasn't college, it was like the Thrillers or some weird
Okay.
league. But they had kegs of beer that were in this room that you could walk in that had a stairway that led down to a parking lot. And my buddy Matt stole a keg out of there and we drank it. And he's like, there's more.
Now, when you say you stole a bunch of kegs, were you stealing a keg per event, or did you steal a plethora of kegs in one heist?
What Matt found out, so he found out that this door was unlocked. He had a soccer tournament there. He walked in there as a keg. He went down to the stairs. The door opens from the inside. So if you go into the Civic Center, go in through the door, walk down the stairs, it just opens to the parking lot. So he walked back up through the Civic Center, drove his car around, set a keg by the door, and propped it open a little, threw the keg into his fucking car, drove off, and we got drunk. And he's like, it's like one of those things like, there's more gold in the mine.
Right. Don't tell anyone about this spot.
Well, and no, it was like, let's tell everybody. And then we're greedy kids. We could have just taken one keg at a time. That would have been quick. That would have been easy. We probably could have done it forever and no one would have known. It would have just been our secret little beer stash. This was before cameras. This is fucking greedy. This is 97 maybe.
You went all in.
Yeah. We decided to go back with 4 cars and clean this fucking place out.
How many kegs?
Well, we're gonna try and take them all.
But how many are all?
I mean, we had a ballpark. We had a pickup there. We were probably gonna get 12 to 13.
12 kegs. How old were you?
14.
Dude, that's a lot of beer.
Yeah, man. We were gonna throw a real good party, and you're gonna have a lot of beer for a while.
Yeah.
So we gotta clean them out. There's people on the inside. There's people on the outside. I'm a truck man. I'm waiting in one of those cars.
This is a real casino heist.
Oh, yeah. We're going to pull up with the truck. We're going to throw the kegs in the back. We're going to and I'm one of the guys that's going to help load. There's inside people that are taking them all down to the stairs, getting them set up. And then there's cars. We're just going to come in like one at a time and get loaded up. So we're loading up the first car. We're putting the first keg in, and a meter guy for the power company.
Oh, no.
Comes driving around the corner in a truck and sees a bunch of 14-year-old kids loading a keg into a car.
And at this point, it's a keg. There's one keg that this guy sees.
Yeah, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And we all we're like, shit, code red. So we were all flying out of there in our cars and everything. He manages to get the license plate of one car.
Dude, this is another situation where a meter maid has fucked up a day.
Goddamn meter people. So he gets Tessa's license plate.
Okay.
And we all escape.
Right.
The meter man doesn't, there's no high-speed pursuit with the meter fella.
Right.
And he calls the cops. He gives them the number. They go to her house. They catch her. She says she's thrown away the keg. It's actually in her basement on ice. I went over and drank some of it.
As police, how do you just believe someone at face value that stole something and didn't go, are you sure that's not on ice?
But also, you have basically a meter man that's like, I saw kids putting a keg in a car and they drove away. And then it's like, where? What keg? We were loading a fucking...
Oh, yeah. It's not like you stole it from a liquor store.
It's like, as an older person, I know that we could have fought this way more, but they scared the shit out of her. We're like, this is a felony, do you want to ruin your life? And, I had...
Underage.
Oh, yeah. And the cops would the shit they used to threaten me with was ridiculous. Yeah. And they would also interview me without my parents or my parents knowing. They would just call my house and talk to me.
Right. Because in reality, if you're under 18, your record, for the most part, is going to wipe clean on that birthday.
It's kind of illegal for cops to call and talk to...
Children?
Children, yeah, without their parents around.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she narcs.
Oh.
Rats us all out. And Matt, my buddy who's the mastermind of all this, comes up with this plan where
always a Matt.
Where he's like, hey, we will just say that we were out driving around and we saw Tessa's car pull around to the back, and we were on lunch, and we were just going to go see what those girls were up to. And we were just like the meter man. When we pulled around, we saw them loading the keg in there too.
Oh my God, is that beer?
Yeah, and we were just like, fuck, we're going to... And then the meter man pulled up, and we're like, fuck, we're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and we got out of here. We all... Matt types up this story. Like, we have copies of it. Like, we're all on the same page and doing this.
And this is all because she decided to narc, not because you disliked her from the front.
No, I like her. I liked her, I thought she was cool. So then at the end of the day, though, Matt, because he's really feeling the heat because he was in the building. We were just driving by in a car. We never technically did anything illegal because we didn't have a chance to, me and my buddy Cody.
Right.
So
now he's like, man, they could really turn me in.
But they're going for Matt, and Matt's lawyer talks him into taking a deal. So then Matt confesses, which then proves that I've been lying to the police. So then I get charged with misimprisonment of a felony.
What?
They try to get me to narc before I know this. And yeah, I get charged with misimprisonment of a felony, which is basically not narking.
Right. But this was all another person's plan that decided to take a plea bargain.
Yeah.
So what happened in San Diego?
So I haven't really spoken to Tessa in 25 years.
Oh my God.
And my buddy calls me at 1:30 in the morning, and she's on the line, and she's like, I just want to apologize for narking.
Yes. It's never too late to make amends.
Yeah. And he said that they were like hanging out talking, and she was like, yeah, I want to go see Zach do comedy sometime or something, but I feel like he would like roast the shit out of me for being a narc. And she's like, I felt bad about narking for like 20, it's 14 or 39, 25 years.
Right.
And,
yeah, and Zach would roast you because if you read the fine print of all of his tickets, it says no narcs.
Yeah. So Travis is like, Zach, if anybody would forgive you, it would be Zach. Like, I guarantee he's not mad about this. I'm going to call him right now.
Whoa. So you got a blast from the past.
So I got a blast from the past, yeah. And she was just like, sorry, I narked on you.
But that's super cool.
And I forgave her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, don't feel bad about it. I understand, too, how cops lie and scare the shit out of, like, yeah, they told you your life was going to be over. You were scared, and you were like, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to save my own ass, which, I don't know. I feel like...
You hate to say that you'd do the same thing, but it's...
Well, I didn't do the same thing.
Right.
They asked me, and I didn't.
You took a
I could have been like, hey, this is what happened, and not gotten in any trouble, but I'm not a narc.
Right.
But, just because, I don't know. I can't be mad at a 14-year-old for that.
Right.
I should have asked her, though, like, you been doing any other narking?
You been narking? You been narking, Tess? You been doing that? Yeah. Well, that's super cool, man. You had something negative happen to you. She made amends. You forgave her. Pretty hippie.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that's cool.
I like to think it's more Christ-like. But
you think Christ wasn't a hippie? Sandals, long hair, frankincense, and myrrh.
No, I know. I'm making a joke.
Yeah. That's really cool, man. A lot of people don't get that. There are certain things you don't get closure with in your life, and it sounds like for 25 years she was carrying that burden.
Well, yeah, which is crazy because for 25 years I've been hating her every day.
Oh God.
No. It's something I hadn't thought about in a while. At the time it sucked because, we probably could have just gotten away with it. And really what sucked is it put me into the legal system.
Right.
Where then I had 4 probation violations. I almost went to, which I don't even know how this was legal, but they would send you to fucking forestry or boot camp. And basically I was supposed to go. If my mom didn't work in the legal system, I probably would have gone.
Wait, so if you were basically underage, you had a chance to either go through boot camp, which is like a scared straight program, or you could work for the Forest Service?
So you didn't have a choice. So at a certain point, if they determined that you you had a few probation violations.
Yeah.
And some people, it's just if they didn't have a good lawyer or did something fucked up or mouthed off to the judge or whatever, if they didn't like you, at any point for doing something wrong as a kid, they could send you to this forestry or boot camp.
But it wasn't...
the boot camp, and you didn't have a choice. And the boot camp was basically that you just had a drill sergeant like working you. My buddy was in it. They would work them. He said the first night that they were there, you didn't go to sleep, or they made everybody exercise until they were vomiting.
Yeah.
And and he's like, that shit happened almost every day. Like kids would go in there like fat and come out just like cut.
Yeah.
Because they were, and the first night they're there, they fucking made all of them get nuts to butts naked. And then fucking screamed at them for fucking hours and would just headbutt them in the face with their hats and just, it's fucked up. Like, I don't know how it's a kind of, it's strange and unusual punishment or whatever the fuck the cruel and unusual. Yeah.
But I will say one thing about it that is
strange and unusual. That's the rope show.
Yeah. Friction. One thing I find to be super bizarre about this whole thing, and I find this to be with prisons as well, but especially with the boot camps, you're going to take someone that's possibly just a delinquent, right?
Yeah.
For sake of arguing. And then you're going to put them through a program that just toughens them up. Psychologically, they're ready for war and they're jacked. How does that make it better?
Oh, the program did not fucking work, man.
Right. You just made them faster,
and eventually
stronger.
got shut down because they worked 2 kids until they fucking died.
Jesus.
2 kids fucking died there. Like, there was this kid that was really overweight in my... Because they would be in JSC, and every time I'd get a probation violation, I'd get like 2 weeks in JSC or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did little stints of time in the joint. And but there's this kid that he violated. So there was also this thing that parents could put their kids on there. I think it was called CHINS. It was Child in Need of Service.
Okay.
And at that point, at any time, they could just report you to the state for disobedience, and they could come and put you in jail. So this kid, was going DOC because his mom or his grandma asked him to do the dishes, and he told her to fuck off, and he wouldn't do the dishes, and it was like his 5th violation. She called the cops on him for doing it, and they sent him DOC. He was super overweight. And like the podcasters were like, you need to start exercising every day in here.
Wait, you said the podcasters.
Or the pod officers.
Okay. I just want to make sure our listeners still believe that.
In the juvenile service center, they had pods that all the kids were kept in.
Okay.
Which, and then they had, male pods in the female pod, and you could like see the female pod or whatever.
Right.
Like there was weird things where like there's like windows that would line up with the ladies and the dudes cells, and there'd be like titty dick exchanges and stuff. I never had one of those rooms, but there's all these gossip about that or whatever. And they were called pods, and we had pod officers because we all were taught how to cut and edit podcasts and had to do that every day as child labor. No.
So the overweight kid.
Yeah, they were like, you better start working out or you're gonna fucking die. Like everybody was really worried this kid was gonna die in boot camp, and then people ended up fucking dying in boot camp. And then forestry camp was basically the same thing, but instead of drill sergeants making you do fucking push-ups all day, you literally old school cut trees down with one of these fucking saws, fucking.
Learning how to cut fire trench and everything else?
All day long, you cut fucking trees down.
Wow. It makes me wonder what the protocol was for... What about shitty parents that just could have constantly turned their kids in? Like, how did you alleviate that?
I knew a few people that got in trouble for chin stuff, and the chin stuff was really just like, their kids were bad or whatever, but like, they didn't need to go to fucking... boot camp. Like that's fucking crazy.
Well, there were kids that I knew growing up, like Ritalin kids.
Yeah.
And like they were out of control, but they weren't bad kids. They just weren't properly I don't want to say disciplined, but
they weren't properly medicated.
Right.
I don't know. I've been talking about this trying to find some humor, because how they punished us in school was they had the check mark. So I was trying to work on some joke about how I'll never pay to have a check mark next to my name, because when I was in school, if you were bad, they would write your name on the board. If you were bad again, they would make a check mark next to your name.
Right.
And then if you were like bad again, you'd get another check mark. If you got 3, you had to take a note home to your parents about how you were a naughty boy. And then if you got 4, I think you had to take a note home and you lost like recess or something. And if you got like 5, you had to go to the principal.
Yeah.
And, and then I think my record was the principal wasn't there one day and I got like 8 check marks or some shit. It was like fucking setting records.
I remember my buddy Grant and they kept telling us, because we would get in trouble. We had a running thing where it was like, how many detentions do you think we can get? And then they would sit us down and they go, these detentions have to be spent. We're going to carry them over. And if you have unspent detentions, you will not graduate. Guess what? Wrong. I left that place with probably a good 47 detention days unspent.
Oh, yeah. They had some crazy thing where if you skipped a class when I was a kid, you had to do 2.5 hours of detention after school for every class you skipped. And it's it got so extreme that I just didn't. I'm like, well, I'm just not going back to this class because I can never do the detention to graduate. It wasn't usually didn't even have to do with my grades being bad. Why I was failing out of high school, it was just Well, when we were 14, they gave us cars and let us leave campus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can drive in South Dakota at 14 until 8 o'clock at night, and we had open campus. So every day at 14, they're just like, go out into the world with girls. And come back.
Yeah.
Come back and go to school. And it's like, and I'd leave at lunch every day and be like, I'm
done.
Never coming back.
Yeah. We didn't have... I definitely skipped a few times, but we were in an island basically, like surrounded by cornfields and stuff. So then the rush was running away from the janitor when he would try to track you and getting away. And then you'd leave and you get to some kid's house and we'd be like, what are we going to do now? And we're like, I don't know. Should we try to sneak back in? We're like, yeah, that'll be a rush.
Oh, we knew exactly what we were going to do. We were going to smoke pot, smoke cigs. Fucking my friend Matt, same Matt from earlier, his parents had a huge freezer that was just, they would buy hundreds of dollars of Schwann's.
Oh, yeah, Schwann's,
oven
man.
and microwave food every week. So
dude,
we
those
would just
chicken cordon bleus.
Oh, yeah, dude, we would just be eating Schwann's, getting high, fucking having a great fucking time.
Dude, those cordon bleus I remember as being like the kind of the OG Hot Pockets. God, they were good. I remember I got into it at high school with the home ec teacher. We did not like each other, which I'll say this, she didn't like me.
Yeah.
So in turn, like I was kind of combative with her. We got into it one time. I do not remember what it was about, but she was so like just annoying. Like it was like digging at a scab. And I was like, hey, just leave me alone. I won't talk to you. You won't talk to me. And that's not how an adult likes to be talked to by like a 16-year-old. And she goes, well, you need to do this. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't even know why I'm in this class. If I'd have known you were subbing for it, I wouldn't be here. And it just kept going to the point that nothing's being taught. It's literally just her and I volleying back words. And she goes, I'm going to send you to the office. I was like, you think I'm scared of that, man? And she goes, I'm going to do it. And I just went up and hit the sounder to the principal's office. And they were like, yes, is there an issue? And I was like, this is AJ. I'm on my way. And before I even got there, I remember, I think it was Mr. Alsop at the time, and he goes, you're out of here. And I was like, I knew that when I was walking down here. That's why I have my backpack.
Did you have a vice principal? Because I feel like in elementary school, you talk to the principal. Then in middle school, you talk to the vice principal.
I don't remember. I mean, I bet there was, but I will say I do not remember who the vice principal was. It was a small school. I mean, there were like 400 people maybe in my entire school.
My elementary school principal was Dr. Hines.
Like the ketchup?
Yeah.
Dr. Hines. God.
And
did you have a paddle? Did he have a paddle?
No.
My grade school principal had a paddle.
Would he hit kids with it still?
Yes. And it was a paddle.
Okay, so this is what I was trying to get at earlier, is that I grew up in this weird transition time. You came into it where they were like, because how they used to punish kids is they were like, we just hit them.
Oh, yeah, dude, we still had paddles. And it was...
Wow, so you still got hit in school when you were young.
Yeah, and it was... I will tell you this. It was so bizarre. I think back on it right now, like that man should have been arrested for just what he had for a weapon. He had almost like an oar, like a canoe oar, and it had holes drilled through it for wind velocity. So when you were being paddled, you would hear a as it was coming into you, and engraved on the handle, like burned in with a wood carver.
Widowmaker.
No, it said the Old Maiden. Like, I'm not jacking with you.
Oh, wow.
And you would go into his office. The first few times you were in there, he would be talking, but above his head, like a trophy, would be this oar that said the Old Maiden. And then you would hear stories about like sixth graders.
Did you get hit with it?
I got shown it once, but I never got hit. But I definitely heard a guy getting smacked. And I was like, I don't want any part of that.
Whoa. So did it work?
On me? Like, I was scared. Scared straight.
Okay. Hey, Marciana, if you're listening out there, and AJ's being a bad boy.
He's a paddle man.
Pull out that paddle, start drilling holes in there.
I would be so pissed if she ends up with just like a paddleball paddle and I get home and she's got the Old Maiden written on it. Also, I'm going to be pissed off if people start showing up to my shows with Old Maiden paddles.
Well, dude, when I top you, I'm totally going to Old Maiden the shit out of you.
This is for your own therapy.
Yeah, dude. You're going to get the Old Maiden.
Oh, man.
Right on the caboo.
Right on the caboose.
So, I read an article the other day that had me thinking about if something's hippie or not, AJ.
Okay.
Kitties.
Kitties?
Kitty cats.
Meows?
Yeah, meow meows.
Yeah, meows.
Cats.
Why?
Well, what made me think about it is I read this article that says that catnip.
Oh, it's like the marijuana for kitties.
Well, it's psychoactive.
But have you ever tried smoking catnip? I've heard this before.
No.
I don't think it works.
It doesn't work for people.
You gotta have.
Do you ever try smoking banana peels on a roof?
Do you have to be on a roof?
Do you ever try eating? Well, you're supposed to throw them up there and cook them, I think.
Oh.
Then there was a thing I heard too that if you put toothpaste on orange peels, that it would turn into some sort of LSD. And man, when my mom found all the orange peels covered in toothpaste behind my TV, she's like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "I'm trying to invent an air freshener."
We did. God, what was the one that we did? We did nutmeg.
Oh yeah.
You know, nutmeg.
Does that work? That works, right?
Yeah, it does. But you have to, here's the problem with nutmeg. Much like cinnamon, you have to be careful how you ingest it because you can start choking because you have to get it ground so that you have to take a copious amount of nutmeg into yourself. Yeah. So we were mixing it up in water and trying to get it down. And I did not get enough to get like a hallucinogenic feel. But what I did get was, you know, when you come down, you know, the worst part about acid? I had that for 6 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, yeah, the part I hate.
Did you feel sick?
No, just like tired and wound up and sore and like definitely disoriented.
Did you ever eat morning glory seeds?
No. Morning glories, Hawaiian wood rose were another one. Ginseng.
Yeah.
Ginseng.
No, I tried to eat a bunch of morning glory seeds and I got so sick.
Did you go to the hospital?
No.
I know people that.
I'm not a narc.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a buddy of mine that I used to work with at UPS that he ended up in ER trying to pound down a bunch of those seed pods.
No, I puked and puked and puked and puked and puked. And then I think I read later that they're covered in some sort of like chemicals or fertilizer or something.
So you got to get You got to clean them somehow?
No, I just think it's just you just eat acid instead.
Yeah, I think that's probably your...
Do you know?
We could eat these seeds or acid. Just wait for the dose.
Well, sometimes with that kind of stuff, I would just stay home from school and then get up in the morning and do it. And then, figured I'd be cool by the time my mom, I'd be like, I'm sick, Mom. And then I'd fucking eat a bunch of morning glory seeds.
Yeah.
But man, one time, did you ever take Dramamine?
The motion sickness?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I never did the Dramamine. Did that do something?
Oh, it fucks you up, dude.
Like how much? Okay, so Dramamine, at some point you take it to alleviate motion sickness, but I'm assuming you have to take more than what they're...
Oh, yeah. The first time I did it, I took like a whole box, and I was fucking so fucked up. I had to like crawl to the bathroom. It also, if you take too much, it will fuck you up, but it'll also make you kind of sick.
Right.
It'll make you puke.
That's the same as like robo-tripping when you're doing the tuss.
So, well, that's DXM, which is a little different, but...
once you get too much in, you get a little nauseous.
Now, stop me if I've ever told this story, but my buddy, so when we were kids, he fucking went on Matt again.
There's only...
Yeah, we'll call this episode Matt.
I used to have this joke, and we'll get back to this, but I used to have this joke where it was like, every story that I had that was a problem, there was always a Matt involved somehow. And somehow it always seemed like Matt had this wild idea and he never got in trouble. Somehow he was just...
Oh, Matt got in so much trouble. Matt was not good at avoiding trouble. Matt got in trouble all the time. And what's funny is his dad, because parents never will think, like, just understand that, like, yeah, my kid is part of a group of kids that do crimes. It's not like there's just like... It's not like there's just one bad seed that's making everybody else do everything. We're all like, everybody else has to be like, yeah, that's a great idea, Matt.
Yeah. He's just trying to be cool. Clearly not the leader.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorites was Matt got in trouble he worked at Target and he would just have friends come through and he wouldn't ring stuff up.
Typical teenager.
Oh yeah, the like gaming systems, like yeah, sure, go on through. And they had cameras, and the first time he stole from them, they saw it, but then they watched him for like 3 months and just kept track of everything that he stole.
Oh, dude, what was? Do you know what the value was?
Well, they waited till it got up to where it was like a felony or whatever.
Oh my God!
Yeah, like they could have just stopped it and at a misdemeanor, but they apparently I don't know. They wanted him to go to suffer.
Although it's one of those things where why not just go, hey, we know you did that. Give them a warning. Instead, part of that is the problem of management going, why did you let it go on for so long?
You just fucking fire the person for stealing and fucking, I don't know. But so this goes on. He gets busted. I never go and do this. I never once am one of the people that goes through the line. I have nothing to do with this. And he gets busted for it. And they say, like he had friends coming through. His dad, I'm the first person his dad calls. And he goes, what the fuck are you and Matthew doing? I know this was fucking, and he like screamed at me and shit.
Oh, saying it was your idea?
Yeah. And
you're a bad influence on my boy.
And I like, cause he had a meltdown. Cause dude, this is like, also at this point, Matt has been in trouble probably 40 times.
Yeah.
Like
you got a bad kid.
And yeah, and I'm talking like legal trouble or like racing, going 86 miles an hour, crashing and hitting 5 cars, or like God, he did so much dumb shit. But yeah, it felt so good to be like, nah, man, I didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
And then for that to actually come to light to him that I had nothing to do with it. And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. He apologized. But where the fuck was I? Oh, yeah. So Matt is on a church trip with all these fucking kids. It's not his church. It's like a friend of his invites him to go on this church trip. He brings a shitload of Dramamine, passes it out to a bunch of kids on the bus. They all fucking take too much. They all get sick on the bus at the same time.
Have any of these kids done Dramamine before?
No. It's just like something you do in South Dakota because you can't find real drugs. Right. So you're like...
It's doing like keyboard cleaner.
So like, we can steal this from the store. And so there's all these kids, puking out the little side bus windows, just, bleh, and it's fucking puke chaos on this fucking church bus, man. And they separate them, grill them. They all turn on Matt. They all rat Matt out, like he brought the Dramamine and everything, but his parents don't go to the church.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have they don't. So the pastor of the church is like, your parents need to call me and they need to come clean. Your parents need to call me so we can, punish you and I can talk to them about what you did and everything. So
get a fake parent.
So Matt gets home and immediately calls me because I have the deepest voice of all my friends. And he's like, dude, I need you to be my dad. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. He's like,
I'm your daddy.
So he's like, I'm going to star 6-7. Which,
oh yeah, dude. Old school. Block that shit.
Well, was it star 6-7 to block it or was it star 6-9?
I feel like star 6-7 was how you kept them from seeing you on call ID.
Was star 6-9 how you did a 3-way call? How did you do a 3-way call back then?
That was more advanced. I wasn't really into.
There's a star combo to do a 3-way call that we knew about.
You would do like the call waiting thing. Yeah.
But so he called him and then, so it was his number on the caller ID, but I was on the line too. He was listening. And I talked to this fucking pastor, this priest of this fucking church for like an hour.
Whoa.
And he was like, I was like, oh, we're just so disappointed in Matthew. He's, we're very upset.
I love how you said Matthew.
Oh, yeah. No, of course, dude.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Not only was I playing, like, pretending to be Matt's dad, I knew Matt's dad well enough where I was acting like Matt's dad.
That's awesome.
I was like, yeah, we always try to teach Matthew good choices, but he made bad choices. And, we're really upset about this, and he's in deep trouble. He's in his room right now, and, he's going to be in trouble for a long time. Let's just say Matthew's not going to be having any fun for a while. And he kept being like, well, we feel really bad about this happening. Like, I think the guy like kind of wanted to be my buddy or something. And he was like, he's like, so why don't we just set up a time to come over to the house and meet you guys and talk about this? I'm like, we're so embarrassed about what Matthew did. I appreciate the offer and just please don't take this personal, but my wife is very upset about this. And, I think we'd like to just handle this on our own.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I totally understand. And Matt never got in trouble for that one.
Wow.
But
dude, my buddy, I had several friends like Matt that I'm sure we'll get into later on.
Yeah, me too.
I had this guy Jeff.
I had 2 friends named Matt.
Oh, double Matt.
Both of them did dumb shit.
My buddy Jeff and I can't remember who else was there, but Jeff and another guy, we went on an art trip for a thing, and we went, and there was a point where some pot had been smoked, and this was around the time where it was the bus driver would just
right
go,
now for me
smells like a skunk.
Yeah.
And like, so we're kind of laughing about it, but we decide we have lunch and we smoke again. And there's a guy named Brian. He's a bigger guy. He's like the center of our football team. And he was kind of just demanding, I want to smoke. And Jeff's like, do you smoke? And he goes, doesn't matter. I want to smoke. So we get Brian high as hell and he's not working well. Like just as he's
Brian is moving slow. I'm so high, dude. I wanna get on the field and grab the pigskin and hike it through my legs to my quarterback.
So what did happen was probably about 10 minutes before we had to reconvene on the bus. And everyone stinks now. I mean, we're all just, we fired up some real stinky stuff. Brian's like, I got to feel that
bomb-ass Leavenworth, Kansas swag.
Yeah. And there's this...
you clean seeds out of that weed.
Dude. Well, I think this was coming up from Oklahoma. It was pretty wild. But he...
Those boys from Oklahoma roll their joints all wrong.
But
They're way too skinny or way too long.
I remember he saw the swing set and he wanted desperately to be I don't know what got in his head.
He's a
like,
swinger.
He wanted to swing. He's like, I need to. He was.
I wanna get on the swing and go up and down. Will you push me, Dada? Please come push me, Daddy.
But so what happens is he goes back. He barely gets a swing, and he's just like, all right. And we're all watching him because he's completely out of control. He kicks his legs up. And when he does, he goes forward. And then in the backswing, the fucking swing just breaks. And he's just on the ground. And he's going, ha, ha, ha. And we're going, what the fuck? Ha. And we're like, he's done. Dude, he was so disoriented. We just were like, Brian, we're sorry. And we leave. Like, we just go back to the bus. And as they're doing the counts, I remember she just went, we're one person down. And she's trying to figure it out. And we're so high. We're just like, we're not the ones to answer this. And then Brian just comes wobbling back up. And he's
covered in blood.
No, not covered in blood, just completely out of it. I mean, it's like he got knocked out on the field.
I have a
concussion. You're holding up 20 fingers.
On one hand. But he got in there, and I don't even know what he told the teacher. She just was like so concerned. She was like, Brian, we were going to leave you. Where have you been? And he just mumbled some stuff, and then he got on, and dude, he was so out of it. He just was like,
Did he ever smoke again?
Not with us.
Yeah.
Not with us. But it was just...
Like, we can't have you around, Brian. You're a liability. And he's like,
Come on, guys, I'm cool. I could smoke. I don't have to swing. Yeah, this time I'll just sit on the ground. I'll be a good boy. Yeah.
I wonder how much our listeners like it when the weird voices get involved.
yeah, if you hate when we do the weird voices, let us know. Because we don't give a fuck.
Tell us about it.
All right.
Well, yeah, so cats.
I was like, how the fuck did we get into this? Cats and catnip. Yeah. So cats, you feel like cats are hippies?
I think people that give their cats catnip are hippifying their cats.
Oh, yeah, they're trying. Because they're like, I want to get my cat sedated.
Did you know there's a catnip for dogs?
Is it dog nip?
It's LSD.
LS dog.
Well, yeah, getting your cats fucked up on that cat dope.
Don't swing and smoke.
Yeah, and we will see you next week. Get on the
Motherfucking
Well, I met you down around Mexico. You were reading your book in your head